Alrighty, so I think we're live. I'll get my microphone in front of me now. So,
Okay.
All right, how's it going, everyone? Hey, everyone, for who's watching this live stream on replay, I guess. Today, sorry, I got these headphones on. It makes it sound really weird when I talk. I got to get used to that. Today, we're going to be doing a special Christmas live stream. I haven't really celebrated things like this in the past, but I thought, no better way than doing a little Christmas live stream than celebrating it like with one of my friends. So AquaMalik, we've got AquaMalik today on the stream. As a lot of you guys probably would have seen, AquaMalik was recently in that huge viral Vice video that it went crazy, bro. Like got like nearly 2 million views. And yeah, I mean, I've been watching Malik since before then, but ever since then he's been kind of popping off on YouTube a little bit. And even before then we did a stream, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
we did.
So like we've been talking for ages. We both are really interested in Plecos and I guess like all the fish in general, but we've really kind of like become friends because of the Plecos. So yeah, today we're just gonna be doing some Q&A. We're probably gonna talk around and have a chat. You can ask us questions and we'll see what happens.
There's people on the chat. I'm just looking through it. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, already.
What's going on,
Dylan's World of YouTube. I did a live stream yesterday. I saw you were in it as well, Malik. But I did that one just because I hadn't done one for ages, so I wanted to kind of warm up a little bit before.
I liked that one yesterday. What you did, because you were like, a lot of people were like asking you questions, and you were like, fully engaged, and I was like, it was nice. I loved it.
Yeah, it's weird because I like watching other people's live streams, but then I do one myself, and it doesn't feel the same. It's kind of like what we're talking about with the YouTube videos, where like it's the same. You get like that weird feeling. Yeah. I don't know. It's like the imposter syndrome a little bit, but yeah. Besides that,
I love your hat, by the way.
Oh yeah, sweet. Thank you. But I don't know what we're going to talk about today. I've still got my family members around and all that. So
yes, question
if we get interrupted, that's what it is. But
how's Guppy's doing or going?
I don't even have guppies at the moment.
Neither do I. I actually do have endlers.
I've got some of them.
Yeah, they're nice, but they're easy. Like I have like about 300 of them, so they just breed on their own.
Do you breed them to make money though, or do you breed them for?
I could breed them. I could sell them. I mean, every once in a while I do, but usually I breed them just to have like small. Excuse me, Coca-Cola.
Excused.
Yeah, mostly I breed them to have like small fish in the tank.
Yeah.
So my 134 tank, for example, I have a whole group of them. They breed. They do their own thing.
I almost found like endlers, if you breed them in a small tank, it didn't really make sense if you're trying to do it for profit because they're so small. It became so tricky to catch them and split them up by males and females that you'd take a bag of 30 fish that costs $30, like you'd be getting $30 for it.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd spent such a long period of time trying to bag those fish up, and it wasn't really worth it for me. So I kind of stopped doing them. But I do use them in like my ram tanks and stuff if I want like dither fish.
Yeah.
Because their mouths are too small to eat things. But besides that, yeah, that's all I've got. Here we go. We're going to have to... Guys, don't spam, please. Because we got to wait for some of the mods to rock up. I'm pretty new to all this live streaming stuff.
Like anybody like all your channel members and stuff. Like John is a good person. I know him personally. He's in Australia, but I do know.
We'll add him.
Yeah. Zebra Pleco Fans is a mod on my channel.
Easy.
Christopher is a mod on my channel.
I recognize Craig. You can be a modder.
Yeah, Craig's good.
There you go. We'll just... There you go.
But
they've got the power now.
Got the power now. But yeah,
there we go.
With the endlers, I found the same problem. Like it's just not worth my time to catch them and bag them and sort them and to call the group, and I just let them do their thing.
How do you reckon farms like overseas? I feel like they separate them out when they're breeding them, but like it would make more sense if you had like a huge vat of them, like a big 1,000 liter tote, and then you would catch them out of that.
Yeah.
Rather, like, because then you'd be making like $800.
like
And
Golden Farms. You know the farm in Texas, the
yeah,
old Charles. That's how he breeds them. He breeds them in like 300-gallon vats.
but didn't they get that farm got like slammed with like that cold freeze? Remember that, like that Texas freeze or whatever it was? Yeah, that was pretty disappointing
Yeah, it was sad to watch. I mean, it was like
because they've
imagine,
had a few things happen. Like they've had like hurricanes come through, I thought, and like
yeah.
because I
That's
remember watching their tour and stuff, and they were talking about that, like how they've had to restart a bunch of times, and
that's the reality
so
of living in Texas because it's supposed to be good weather, but hurricanes and tornadoes are a problem. Well, hurricanes mostly, but then you have like the odd cold snap, like in the middle of winter, right? So,
it's almost like you feel like either they should. Hopefully, they had insurance, but like either you get insurance or, which would be probably really hard to try and have insurance for a fish
yeah,
breeding business, but get that or move the whole facility because you can't be dealing with that unless it's super profitable when it's working. Because otherwise, it's just like losing your brood stock is like the worst thing because it means that you're not going to breed for at least 4 to 6 months because you've got
yeah,
to get more brood stock. And then a lot of people don't realize like fish take a bit to settle in before they start breeding as well. So you got that time. You actually have to breed more and raise them up. So you've got like 6 months no income.
yeah,
And then you have another thing too people do is when they breed one batch and then they use that first batch as their brood stock.
yeah.
So it could even be up to a year. Like it took me
That
a couple of months to start making money from my fish room. And
like I think for sure it set them back at least 6 months to a year, like because I follow them pretty regularly. Like I watch a lot of their videos. And, I'm also friends with Charles, like not like how many of your friends, but I have him on Facebook. I've had a couple of conversations with him. So it definitely set them back at least 6 months to a year. And I totally agree with you on that too. Like if you have, like for me personally, for example, the fish that are born in my facility are always the best breeders. Anything that I've bred,
100%.
yeah. So even if I'm starting, let's say I'm starting to breed rams today, it would mean like what you said with your gold rams. I would probably have to buy a group, and it's not because of diseases. From in my case, because I get them from my friend or somebody I trust. That's also bred here.
Yeah.
But then, even then, the fish that I'm bringing in, they will have a few clutches, and then chances are not all of them will make it all the way across for like a year or two. But the babies that they have in my facility will always be better once they grow up to adult size. I have no problems beyond that. They just keep breeding.
Yeah, that's like the case with like my blue black rams. It took them a bit, like the first couple of generations. I'm now on to like generation 3, and so I bred the originals,
Mm-hmm.
and then I bred the fry,
Mm-hmm.
and now I'm breeding those fry.
The
So
grand,
now, like,
yeah.
yeah, the grandparent, like the grandchildren, and now they like look a lot better. They have
Mm-hmm.
better fins, and they're like a whole lot more hardy, and they breed like crazy. Like they breed weekly, but
And you have no issues anymore, right? Like compared to when you first started with them.
barely. Like I've noticed that the blue blacks can get dropsy pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, as long as you're not overfeeding, and I feed a lot of like try and feed baby shrimp and things like that, the natural laxatives that prevent those things, like those blockages. But you know what I mean. Um, but besides that, yeah, they're heaps hardier now, so they're a real good broodstock line.
And that's what a lot of people I think don't realize when they go into fish breeding. They get discouraged really fast because they might get a group of fish and the fish might not do so well, and they're like, "Oh, these fish are hard." Or they might get a group of fish, they'll breed a couple of times, then they'll die, and then the person doesn't get to raise any fry out of it. And then they're like, "Okay," but the minute you've raised your own fry to adulthood, I think that really puts you in a new category. Like you, even within yourself, like like you might not have had a lot of success with that particular fish until now, but beyond this point with your own babies, you will have considerably more success, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Like
But,
you need to get those ones to come through. Like even probably with the plecos, like if you kept that's my plan with the Zebs, to get these ones to breed and then continue to hold the fry. I don't really plan on selling any when I start breeding them, and then build up a nice, colony of 50,
mm-hmm.
and then go from there. They'll breed
Yeah,
a lot easier, in my opinion.
I think so. I think so. I've noticed that quite a bit with even the whiptails that I have that are like third generation born in my facility. Like they just breed. Like I don't have to worry too much. Like like everything is good with them. And like I mean, the wild fish that I have also are good, but at the same time, once they've bred like 2 generations in my facility, or one generation, the babies are definitely like much easier to trigger, much more easier to like deal with. They're not, you know what I mean? They're better parents. They tend to be like less scared of you. They don't break the eggs because you spook
Yeah.
them. You know,
By the
there's all,
way, sorry if you can hear like a lawnmower in the back. There's a park across the road, and
all
my
good, bro.
horse decided to start mowing a lawn, so it'll be over in a minute. But
You live with other people, so it's completely okay.
sorry, I know I can't wait till I get my own house, but probably a couple of years before I do that. When did you move out?
Oh, my parents kicked me out when I was like 20ish. My
20.
dad's out of the house.
Then what'd you do?
And I lived on my own. I got an apartment and a studio downtown, and I started a little business, and been doing that. Then I worked, went to school, university or college or whatever, and did all that. You
Did you
know,
like college?
oh, I loved it. So much girls, bro. What you mean? It's the
Yeah, because
best.
it's so different here. Like the college scene, it's because like university here. I feel like you don't really get the same experience as you would in the States because I think a lot of people kind of like move to do college, but here they like just live at home and do university.
Yeah, I lived at home though. Like that
Yeah,
whole concept of living out away from home is not financially feasible for a lot of us. Like because if you're like, well, my parents, I didn't really have a lot of choice because my dad just wanted me to become a man. But um, like for the average person to take that loan to live outside their house, it's just you're gonna pay for that at some point. So like it's just it's not worth it. In my opinion, like the best strategy is to stay at home as long as you
yeah.
can. You know.
Because I feel like dude, those loans there's a lot of them now, and they're pretty big. And the thing is too, like people will get like the degree and then still not be able to get a job to pay for that degree.
Yeah.
I'm pretty interested to see what's going to happen with that in the future, but hopefully nothing bad. But
Pretty dismal, to be completely honest. Like those people are not going to be able to buy houses for a long time. They're not going to be able to afford things. They're
mm,
paying a lot of that money back in interest. Like so, if you have $100,000 loan in the course of 10 years, you're going to probably end up paying $50,000, $60,000 on top of the 100,000
yeah,
in interest. You know what I mean?
legit.
That's if your loan is with the government or like whatever. But if you have a private loan on top of that, that's going to be more. So it's bad.
Yeah, we'll get back to the fish because we've
Yeah.
been making proposed to start talking about that stuff for ages. We'll talk about fish for a little bit and then we'll just see where this conversation takes us. But um, thanks everyone for joining the chat. By the way, I reckon that probably not going to have a ton of people in here today because everyone's spending time with their families.
And Merry Christmas,
So,
by the way.
yeah, definitely. Merry Christmas, everyone, and everyone who's here. I like massively appreciate it. You guys are like the like hardcore fans, in my opinion, the ones that watch all the videos and.
Steve's actually a member in my channel also. Christopher's also a member. Uh, I know there's a few people that are here that I know. Craig is, like a moderator. Um, John is a moderator on my channel. Longfin Lagoon's a channel member and a friend of mine. He lives down the street. He's coming to pick up some zebra plecos on Boxing Day.
Oh hell yeah!
Nice, yeah. So
There was a question that just keeps getting asked, so we can just answer it. How much money do you sell your betters for? I'll answer that.
oh, my betas or yours?
We'll go yours first, and then I'll talk about mine because mine sell
Okay.
for a bunch of different prices.
Exactly, that's what I was gonna say. Like, so the higher end ones, I mean, I have fish that I've sold for $100. Um, but like the average is about 40 to $60. $40 for the short fins, $60 for the long fins. But then depends. Like, there's fish that I sell for 40 just because they're not as nice as the really nice ones. So it depends on the fish.
Bro, if like this is the thing, because a lot of people, I think sometimes my message on YouTube gets misunderstood a little bit. Like, I'm not like when I make these videos about breeding betters, like I talked about breeding them and I said that I made like $3,000, but we're talking about like $3,000 over like 6 months. Like it wasn't a lot of money, and I did a ton of work to keep those betters alive. But
Yeah.
like there's a bunch of different prices. Like I would always, before doing a breeding project, if you are trying to do it to make a little bit of money, plan it out. Like, and when you plan it out, be relentless in making sure that you always undersell your fish. Like, if you're planning to breed 500 bedders, plan to sell them for $2 each. Because the thing is, you'll be able to sell a few of them at the start for like $18 each to a shop in like a little cup, and then they can sell them on for $36, $40, whatever. But at that price, they don't really turn them over as much. Yeah. And it takes a special kind of person who wants to pay $40 for a fighter, because there's different ones where like a lot of people that buy a bedder are going to buy a bedder to put in a bowl and never come back to that fish shop, and they're going to kill it. People get bored of it. Yeah. So like, and that fish is going to cost $7 for the customer to buy, which means the store would have paid $2. So like, there is a market for those like rare and expensive ones, but it's fairly limited in my opinion. Like, plan like to sell for that $2 mark. That's what most of my fish went for. Like, I went to a wholesaler. I was like, look, this is too much work. get these bedders away from me. Like, I can't continue to change all the cups.
It's a pain to raise them. Like, I mean, people don't recognize that's the reality. Like, getting the fish to breed, it's not that difficult. We're raising the little guys to adulthood, you know, all the little details that come along with it. And then that's something I want to actually talk about after. But just coming to the point, like it's a lot of work to raise baby fish to adulthood, and it takes a lot of effort, and it has to be worth it if you're gonna like really gonna try to make money from it. So like you said, you got to be ready to sell for like whatever, like the cheapest price possible if you want to sell them fast. You know, like I sell angelfish $1, $2 each at that store, and yeah. I could. My friends are like, why don't you just keep them and sell them yourself for like $9? Because that's what the pet store sells them for, like $8. You know.
Right. Well, the pet store does all the work selling them. That's like my job's to breed them. The pet store's job's to market them.
But here's the thing: if I were to sell them myself, it literally takes me 3 months to sell the same amount of fish, and I had to meet like 400 or 500 people that are coming one at a time, buying 1 or 2 fish. They're gonna haggle. They're gonna come and want to see the fish. They're gonna want to spend an hour with me and ask all sort of questions. I'm not making any money from that, even if it feels like it's a lot that I'm getting per fish, right?
Like, yeah, bro. Like, that's the thing. I don't know how. Like, I respect that you allow people to come, but for me, it's like I get super funny about people coming to my fish room. Like, I don't want them to see where it is. I don't want them to see what I have. And I have heaps of people, like probably like 5 to 10 people a week, email me saying, oh, can I come pick up the fish? And it's always like no, I'm like, sorry. Like, even if you're in my same city, I still want to ship them to you, because it's I don't want to, sit there and for ages and talk. You know what I mean? It's not trying to be rude. It's just,
it's a lot. Like, even today, somebody was asking me, they want to buy zebra plecos, and I told them the price. I mean, I live stream every day. You want to see the zebs? I can point the camera and show you the 10 fish that you're getting. You know what I mean? I told them, I said, bro, like, he's like, can I come see them first? I'm like, if you're going to buy them and you want to pick them up, you can come see the fish before you give me the cash, obviously.
Yeah, it's like, you don't want to do like personal fish room tours. And the other thing too is like, people also get the idea of what you have, and then like, you don't want someone to.
I'm not worried about that stuff, because I have a big dog. I live in the city camp.
1 sec, I'll mute because I've got.
Yeah, but like, I understand where you're coming from, because for a lot of people that's a concern. Like, and like, as a home breeder, princess, mine starts going crazy. As a home breeder, what you got to remember is, like, this is not gonna be your main gig. You're gonna have. Most of us have families. Like, I mean, I'm good because I don't have my girlfriend living here and stuff like that. So this is just for me. This is my spot. Like, you know, so I'm not too worried about having a random person in the house. But at the same time, if I have my girl living here, and there's times when I had a girl living here, I can't have random people come over. Like, they're just not comfortable with that shit. You know what I mean? It's just unfortunate. But the reality is, they don't want to have some random man or a couple of random men walking through the house and their stuff is relying all over the house. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you a really funny story after my dog stops barking. But I've got such a funny story about when people bought fish from me once.
Yeah. So because of those reasons, I find that it is probably a better idea to meet people somewhere else. What I try to do is anybody that's just buying one or two fish, if they and if it's worth my time, I tell them meet me outside. Um, cash me outside, like that girl. Like I tell them where the bank is, which is like that right downstairs. I tell them I live upstairs of the bank. Just come meet me in front of the bank, and that's it. You know what I mean? And but yeah, like the average person that is not me, I would say would not want to have random people in the house. I'm not too worried. I live like pretty rough life. I'm pretty okay. You know what I mean? Like I'm not scared of things like that. But at the end of the day, yes, you have to be careful. You can't have random people in the house, and I always think about that. And even with me, when I do have people come over, it's always somebody that's like I've talked to them for like a few days and had a back and forth, and they're buying a specific fish. They're not coming to see the fish, they're coming to pick up their fish. And while they're picking up their fish, they want to see the other fish. And I'm like, sure, you're spending $500 already, you can come look at the other fish and maybe spend 500 more bucks. You know what I mean? It's okay.
I completely understand that. Like, if you're gonna, it's at a certain price, but like if someone's gonna come buy 5 angelfish for $20, it's like,
I don't even sell that.
But no, my story. So like ages ago, remember when I had my like old fish room here at the house?
Mm-hmm.
So I was breeding apistos and I was selling them. Like this is before. Like nowadays, it sounds. I'm not trying to say this in a weird way, but most of the time, if I go to like a shop or like if I go to like auction, people like recognize me and like. But back then, like not really. Like I only had like 10,000 subscribers, something like that. So I wasn't like it wasn't like. But nowadays, if I even put a listing up on Gumtree, people know who I am before I get there. Sometimes,
okay, good.
Not every time. Like, but I don't want people coming to my actual house anymore. But what happened was, so this one guy came, and he brought like there was 3 other guys, and like my mum was already funny about like people coming to the house and coming in and looking in the fish room. But like, dude, this guy, so he comes in and we're like talking, and I'm bagging up the fish, and like he's looking at all the fish tanks, and I'm basically just giving this guy a tour of my fish setup. And he goes outside to transfer money onto like his other account to transfer me the money.
Yeah.
And while he's like outside, I've got dogs. He obviously just heard my dogs barking.
Yeah.
And while he was out there, he stepped in dog shit, and he treaded it like all around like my backyard, and like he got into the house, bro. Like, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I'm never selling fish ever again. Like, and like we pick up our dog shit. Like it was just this one spot, like on the lawn where he stepped in it and treaded it in the house, and it was like completely. It was just terrible. And I was like, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, right, this is the worst.
Actually, I want to address something that's on the chat. In Canada, you are allowed to have firearms. I'm a legal firearms owner. I have a license I have RPAL. So if you have your gun license, you can have guns. I have a few toys. I have fun. I don't show it off, but yeah, in Canada, we are armed.
We're not allowed to have them here unless you have a license.
That's why your government can continue to do the things to your population that the way they do. They can't do that.
I was thinking about that. I was like, imagine if
they can't try
to put guns, bro. It'd be terrible. Like everyone should be running around them.
Putting me in a COVID restriction, whatever it is, COVID hospital, whatever. Like try come and taking me against my will. You'll see me on the 6 o'clock news. This guy. That stuff does not work in Canada or the US. Like mostly in the US, definitely not. But even in Canada, they're like our cops are not enforcing the restrictions because they have a better sense. You know what I mean? They're not.
Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous at this point, but I reckon it'll end soon, and we can go and do our fish room tour.
My boy said that he has his restricted longfin. So as a Canadian citizen, it's all right to have a firearms license. It's every Canadian's right. We can't take it away from you unless you do something wrong, like commit murder or something like that. Then But
I don't think that's going to happen. Hopefully,
no. Unless. But yeah, coming back to the point, like you don't want random people in your house. That's completely.
The other thing too is like even when you meet people, you have people who just like don't come. So like you drive somewhere to meet them and you bagged up the fish and put them in a bucket and stressed them out, and then they don't even rock up. Like it's just not worth it sometimes, bro. Set up a little website and ship it. Like, yeah, you'll lose some fish, but people are like, oh, I don't want the fish to get stressed. I'm like, dude, the fish don't get that stressed. Like, most of the time, if the fish rock up and die, as long as they weren't dead when you first got them, or as long as they weren't barely alive when you got them, it was the person who bought them's fault. And I'm not trying to say that like that's always the case and divert the responsibility from me.
Once they've had it in your tank, once a person has had the fish in their tank for more than 24 hours, honestly, that's on you. It's a live animal. You know what I mean? It is what it is. These animals are fragile. Some of them can die through shipping, through just catching. Like Ultim Angels die just by catching them in a net. So you could net your fish just so like that, just to move them, and then one could die. That's how fragile they are. It is what it is. So once you've had them for more than 24 hours, no. But I've had dead fish in the box, like recently actually. It was really cold. I sent 2 fish to Ottawa, 3 hours away from me. It's not that far. But it took 24 hours to get there, and the fish died. So they arrived dead. $80 beta, right? Like the guy paid $80 for it. And there was 2 of them, so $160. And he sent me pictures, and I said, you know what? They were 2 of the nicest fish I had. I had 2 more that I was kind of holding back for myself. Put them in another box, shipped them out the next day to him. They arrived alive. Everything is good. He's happy. You know what I mean? Another client who is also in Montreal or close by, I think Kingston. So he's like 3.5 hours away. Bought like 8 fish. 3-4 weeks go by. His fish end up, getting sick or whatever. Sends me a message asking me like replace them or else. I gave him a piece of my mind.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like you can't people think that like, oh, because I don't have a store that they can try to strong arm you, or like because like they're like, oh, I have something on you. They're like, oh, the guy tried to tell me I'm gonna go on your YouTube. I'm like, bro, go on my YouTube. Do you think I care? Like,
yeah.
My moderators will block you even before you say a word. Like even and the fact that a month after they bought the fish, I'm still entertaining them. I'm still telling them what to do to keep their fish healthy, and they're not doing that. You know what I mean? They're 100% water change, scrub the glass and everything, and the fish gets sick. Whose fault is that?
Bro, anytime like I've got clear on my website, like really clear dead on arrival policy, and most of the time I'm pretty flexible with it. Like if you have a fish arrive and then it does die, and they're like, it's easier to most of the time just refund it. Like I'm not in this for money, and it's not like a massive, like obviously I have to make money, but like I'm willing to sacrifice it so that someone's not angry at my company. But yeah, like I've had instances like that where people come back after a few weeks and say stuff, and I'm like, dude, no, like you're just wasting your time and mine.
Yeah, like, and this is the thing here, like 99% of the people that buy fish from me come back and buy more fish because they're happy with the fish they've got. So the 1% that either don't know how to take care of them, have done something to like cause an issue, or without their fault even have had an issue. I mean, unfortunate, but this is the reality. Like, I mean, fish get sick. Like, it's not like you're trying to make them sick, but some of these animals are quite sensitive. Like the dongfin betas, for example. If you don't have the ideal pH for them, and you don't have tannins in your water, and you don't, do the right things by that animal, whatever requirements it has, like temperature requirements. If you don't have a heater in your bowl or your fish tank, you try to keep them in a 1 gallon, it's not going to do good. That's just reality of it, like, so I do my best before they buy the fish. I have that conversation where like, can I see a picture of your tank, or you know what I mean, let me see what you got going on, or whatever. And I give them oak leaves, I give them Basileir fish food. If they're buying a $50 fish, I give them $10 worth of food, some oak leaves which they don't have to buy anymore, mom from my tank if they don't have like established filter. And after doing all that, you kill your fish, dude. Like, I mean,
it's
on you.
We gotta engage this chat a little bit. These guys are getting a little bit rowdy. We've been going a little bit. There was one question that I wanted you to answer, and it was something to do with what's the best egg layer to start with, in your opinion?
in my opinion, the egg-laying fish, probably like your Danios and
I was literally going to say that.
yeah, anything that's Southeast Asian. Um, I wouldn't say tetras because tetras require a little bit lower pH and KH. Southeast Asian fish tend to be a little bit more forgiving with the KH.
Yeah,
You know?
like I don't think. Oh, well, they are Southeast Asian, but like zebra danio is probably the easiest to breed.
Yeah, barbs, Danios.
Even rainbow fish are easy to breed if you can get them. They just spawn like crazy.
You're lucky because you're in Australia. You can get all the nice ones. We can't.
Actually, it's not as easy, but like, yeah, it's cool. Like if you go to an auction here, there's always normally some kind of rare rainbow fish. But the problem is, for me, it's not really viable buying them because if I breed them, no one will know what they are, and then they don't always like look the best in the bag, and then they look good in the morning. So like, pay like $250 for like 3 really rare angel or rainbow fish that if you breed you can only sell for $3 each.
They look like crap when they're big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, if you can ship me eggs, we can talk. Let's do some business.
Oh, dude, if I found a way, I definitely would do it. But like, I don't even think it'd be legal to do that. Like, apparently you can't do anything. Like,
yeah, it's one of the most restricted types of fish. I mean, they should do that with Plecos and a lot of the South American fish, but the government of South America doesn't care, or the governments of South American countries don't care.
But there's so many other things I have to worry about nowadays. So like, that's like the least. That's like number like 2,000 on their list of things to do. Probably even way further down, like this, like number 5,000.
What country?
Well, Malik's Canadian and I'm Australian.
Yeah, we're all a part of the Commonwealth. We're a
By
part.
the way, guys, if you have a question, like don't spam it, but if we miss it, like in an appropriate time, just you can re-ask it. Like go away. Like go ahead.
Time, if you have questions. Also, there was an L33 question I think up here. I just kind of briefly saw it.
Spot it. Thanks for bearing with us. I'm like still a little bit of a boomer, so. No.
Liam wants to know, how do I get my L333 to breed? They have been bred once, but nothing again. So, like me and Thomas have talked about this quite a bit, and what we've found so far, from just not from our experience, but also from other people, is that the fish seem to get triggered by change. What I like to do is after a water change, or after adding nitrate resin, I like to increase the temperature a half a degree or decrease the temperature half a degree. That seems to trigger all my Plecos. So whatever temperature I have them at, let's say I have them at 29 Celsius, I bring it down to 28.5, just like that they breed. Now, granted, my pH, my KH, my nitrates, everything else in the tank is ideal for that fish. So the temperature just basically brings them, kind of like gives them the nudge they need. You might have to kind of address the other water parameter issues as well. But the trigger for me, at least for my King Tigers, is a half a degree up to 28.5 or half a degree down to 28.5, and they breed. Thomas is the same. So
yeah, like that's an issue that I'm going to be talking about in my videos. But like for all the people watching the stream, you have to kind of with Plecos get everything in place and then trigger them. My Plecos have been breeding because of a temperature drop, but I've been running into issues with those Plecos because the other parameters in the tank aren't correct. Like I have just basically I just have too much KH in the water. So I've been doing a lot of things to try and bring that KH down by adding organics in the water and stuff like that. But that's still risky because you're going to crash your pH if you're not careful.
Yeah.
I'm going to be talking about that later on in some upcoming videos, but you have to get everything in place and then pull the trigger. Like you have to aim and fire. You can't just fire.
Yeah. And Thomas had a really good point, because we were talking about this, and I told him, and because he watched the live stream that me and you were on, and I kind of ragged on him a little bit on it. But then he messaged me and he asked me, yes, the fish will lay eggs, but he asked me, what's the point if you can't hatch any? Like he said,
yeah.
He straight up, he asked me, he's like, is it successful? Is it a successful spawn if you have eggs but they don't hatch and you get nothing?
I didn't want to piss him off. I didn't mean to piss him off if I did, but
He wasn't offended or anything. We talked about it. It's good that we talk about this stuff because this is how we come to conclusions, right? So then he kind of said, yeah, like, and then we agreed together, like we sat there, we talked for like 20 minutes on this, and he said, it makes no sense, does it? And I said, you're right, it doesn't make no sense. So the pH has to be ideal if you want any success. So, and the KH has to be, in my experience, below 1, close to 0 is like the best. Like I had a clutch of sea bags this time. My KH is 0. My pH is crashing in the tank. It's like 5.8 right now. But every single egg hatched, everything is good. So I'm gonna do a water change later.
bring it back up.
Yeah, like it is what it is. Where like with these particular animals, you are literally playing with, like, you're not trying to kill them, but you are playing with death essentially when you get in.
Yeah, you're trying to create like their natural environment, and I've seen a large like I don't want to. How do I explain this? I don't want to go back on my previous word, but like my message is always changing as I learn how to keep fish.
Yeah.
In the past, I've talked about it and like said water parameters aren't too important, and I definitely, as a fish breeder now, completely disagree. And anyone on YouTube that's kind of like telling you that message either doesn't breed fish or doesn't keep fish for a very long time.
Or here's the thing. I'll be honest with you. I have not checked my pH probably until about 4 years ago. The reason I started checking my pH, because nobody told me. They said pH is not important. They don't talk about it. They don't tell you that it's going to crash beyond a certain point. They don't tell you none of that, right?
The reason they don't, I feel like it's good and bad. It stops people from getting discouraged because it is a little bit confronting to have to deal with that.
It is.
But yeah, you continue on.
So my point is, I never thought of it. Never, and I always, whenever my fish died in a tank where the pH had crashed, I was old tank syndrome, like we talked about it the other day, actually. So like, everybody says, oh yeah, your tank is too old. Like, I mean, now I have tanks that are running for 10, 12 years. Since I've gotten here, the tank's been up and running. If the fish don't die in it, because now I know when the pH crashes, that's what is killing my fish, not the tank being old or anything like that, right? So like, there's all these misconceptions in the hobby, and a lot of times what I'm realizing is, and this is not a fault of any particular breeder or whatever, but a lot of the people that are quite successful at breeding fish are quite lucky. You know what I mean? They have really good water. Like, and it just happens that they keep the fish that work in that particular water, and they just breed. And then they're like, oh, I'm the master breeder, whatever. And they write a book about it, right? And
in their experience, they haven't ever had to actually worry about things that normal people would have to worry about because their municipality has like perfect water for what they want to do.
Right. Like if you have water coming out of your tap with a 6.0 pH
and no hardness because it comes out of a lake,
you're breeding, all sorts of plecos. You're breeding angels, you're breeding blue rams, you're breeding discus, and you're having great success. And you're telling everybody, I'm keeping my fish in tap water. And he's not lying. But the reality is their tap water is quite different from my tap water, which is not as bad as some other people that live in the United States or Canada who have super hard water. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so my tap water is shit. Like mine's really, yeah, it's not good.
That have tap water that has nitrates in it. There's people that have tap water that has phosphates in it, ammonia, other like trace minerals, metals, whatever. And bottom line is, all these things hinder your progress for breeding.
It's like the reason I'm saying it is just because now that I understand, like I'm not someone who tests my water every day, like I should be, but it's hard. I've got like a lot of tanks, and unless something's wrong, then I normally don't test it. But like, it's not a tricky thing to understand. It is just like encouraging for a beginner to see such. It's scary. I mean, like you got to learn science. It's a tricky topic. But you need to definitely understand it, and once you understand it, you kind of don't need to monitor it as much. But anyone who's telling you pH doesn't matter is either lucky or doesn't breed fish.
Yeah,
in my opinion, you can breed fish
or whatever it is that lives naturally in the water they have. Like I have friends that say pH don't matter, and then you look at the fish they're breeding, and like if they have hard water, it's all African cichlids. and you give them angelfish, they're like, oh, my fish is sterile. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's a breeding male that has been breeding for me. It's not sterile. They bred in my facility. I give them a proven pair. All the eggs go bad every single time. And they're like, oh, my eggs are, my you gave me a sterile fish. Did I? No. It's just that it's
Yeah,
not.
like even. Oh, here we go. My dog's probably gonna start barking again. I'll just stream. Yeah, you'll have to give me a second. You'll probably have to take over the stream in a minute.
It's not good. I'm gonna answer some questions if you mute. But yeah, keep going. I'm listening to you.
Yeah, here we come. I think the dog's gonna start freaking out a little bit. I'll just mute. You take over the stream for a second.
Okay. So Sarah says, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. Craig says plants help a lot. Yes, plants do help. Sirius had a question. MD fish tanks with KH of 0. Well, here's the thing. I'm gonna explain this to you quite simply. Your KH is what affects your pH. So your KH is your buffering capacity, and it affects your pH. If there's no KH, your pH is not going to crash by itself, but because you have animals in the tank and you're putting food and there's biological activities happening, your pH is going to, if there's no KH, that's going to affect your pH now, right? So your KH basically keeps your pH at a stable level. When the KH goes to below 1, your pH should be at about 7, 7.1, and starting to slowly crash. When it goes to 0, every single day that you put food in, your pH will go down by like a point or so.
Right.
Obviously, it's different from each tank to tank, but on average, that's what you can expect. So if you have a tank that's sitting at, let's say, 6.5, and on Monday, by Friday, it will be at 6, right? By the next week, it'll be 5.5. So that's your time frame.
Yeah. What I was going to say before is that if like pH and KH, those are, in my opinion, the two big ones in the water, like that affect fish, because it's the acidity and the carbonate hardness, which blocks the membrane of an egg. If I don't use RO water to hatch out my rams, the ram eggs either don't hatch or my hatch rate goes down by like 50%.
Yep.
And that's because they're from like, there's no carbonate hardness in the water for where they're from. And their eggs aren't designed to not be in that environment. So like, it definitely does matter, like so much.
Yeah.
People are going to, like people confuse themselves so much when they're trying to breed fish and they quit breeding fish and they're like, well, Nick's lying, Nick's doing this and that. Like Malik's talking shit. Like it's not true. It's like, no, you're just listening to people who don't breed fish tell you that the pH doesn't matter and you're not having like a real conversation with yourself trying to figure out how to fix the issue. Like a lot of people, it's like it should be one of the main principles of fish keeping is responsibility. Like it's take responsibility for everything because it's all your fault.
Yeah, always.
Try and figure it out.
Here's the one thing I'm going to also add to that is that okay, let me phrase this properly. Kind of like have to make sense.
And take your time, bro. Like,
yeah,
rush.
when you're talking about Plecos, for example, right? Like there's a lot of times people who message me and say my Plecos are breeding, they're laying eggs, but my male keeps eating the eggs. He's a bad male. Okay.
Me.
Right. So not just you, but like this is something that's quite common. It happens quite frequently in the hobby. Pleco breeding Hypancestris is notorious for eating eggs. Picoltias, like the L134s, notorious for breeding eggs. Guess how many of my fish in my fish room eat eggs? 0. None of my males eat eggs. 0. Why? Because do you think that I have special males that I got? No, it's the same bloody males that everybody else has. It's not like I went out and said, I'm going to find the males that don't eat. It's not like that. Like I just bought it. Right. And none of them eat eggs. So that's because they're in much suitable conditions for breeding than most of the tanks. Like I try to keep my KH close to 0 as much as possible, especially on the tanks that I'm trying to breed the fish in, so on and so forth. And here's the second point I want to make. In nature, these animals are so well designed to do this. They're one of the best parents. Like Plecos make great parents. Okay? They do all the work. You don't have to pull the eggs out. You don't have to pull the cave out. You don't have to look in there. Once you have a breeding pair and you keep your conditions ideally, you'll just start seeing babies coming out. If you watch some of my live streams, there's a subscriber, this channel member called Sandy Diamond. Okay, she's an older lady. She's like retired. She trains horses. Sweet lady. She's really small, super old, super sweet, and she's been keeping L340s for about a year. Now her two males and three females have been breeding every 10 days or so, small clutches. She's only doing what I'm telling her to do. It's pretty straightforward. It's basically what I'm doing in my facility with my L340. And she's looking at selling some very soon. She's asking me, what do I do with these? Because there's so many of them now in the last 2 months alone, right? So how is she so successful with this? Because she's doing um, right by the animal. She's putting oak leaves in there. She's bringing her pH below 6.5. Her KH is close to zero, and she's doing a decent amount of water changes. She doesn't have nitrate resin, but she is doing her water changes, and she's keeping them at a specific temperature. And I'm pretty sure every couple of days it drops when it rains or whatever, and she gets spawns. That's
Yeah.
straight.
By the way, guys, like if you're enjoying this stream, leave a like, and also if you're finding this information on what we're talking about useful, just drop it in the comments. I want to see what people think about what we're talking about, because
Yes.
I kind of wish that someone was telling me this stuff ages ago, but knowing me, I probably wouldn't have listened. I'm stubborn.
I mean,
It takes
time. I've been trying to breed discus like in my 20s and stuff, whatever, and I was told just to keep them in tap water because that's what discus.
never will work. It'll never freaking work
And
ever.
so the first year or so, I was getting so many clutches of eggs, and I was calling all my fish sterile. I sold pairs because I thought they were sterile, and then they went to somebody else's house and they bred in their tank. So I'm like, my sterile fish went to somebody else and became unsterile. Like, I mean, how did that happen, right? Makes no sense. Then eventually, I talked to Jan the discus man who told me about the egg membrane on discus. And I said, oh, wow, that was brand new. Nobody told me that. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah, and
then,
he has like that crazy water change system that has the RO thing and everything like that. Like it makes all sense. Like it all makes sense.
yeah, he's on top of us. He's one of the dudes in Canada that's like well known for what he does. So definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to quickly mention Kads is like a long time member. He's a complete legend. I've actually bought fish from Kads before. But I don't know if I'm going to trigger anyone saying this, but I found a semi-hands-off approach to fish breeding works for me. Granted, I don't breed the craziest fish. And the reason I want to bring this up is like, it depends what you're breeding, but I completely agree. And I feel like a lot of the success I have is because I've got like my attention diverted to 40 tanks. So like I don't spend a ton of time obsessing over one tank.
Yes.
And I kind of ignore things and lots of stuff happens.
Let the fish do their thing. I totally agree with Cass there because I find that these animals just here's the thing, they just need to be happy and comfortable. You put them in the right environment, whatever water parameters they need, make sure they have that or try to match it, match the temperature, which is easy to do, from their natural environment, and feed them a proper diet based on whatever type they are, and beyond that, like, just don't bother them, just leave them be.
Yeah. Like, and a lot of people, water parameters are pretty easy to like maintain. They kind of like take care of themselves, and what you have to do is just focus on keeping that KH. I think is the most important thing. Like wherever your KH is going to indicate pretty much the rest of the tank.
It doesn't have temperature. Like zero, but if you can get it close to zero or like below,
depending on what you're breeding, but yeah,
below 16 parts per million, especially for like Plecos, angelfish, discus, rams, tetras, like the level of success between a pH of like, let's say 7 and 6.5 when you're breeding like Congo tetras is like having like 203 fry compared to 300 fry.
Yeah,
like it's so visible, you know what I mean? Like you can see it, like where the pH is above 7 or like slightly above 7, and you get like 5 babies that will hatch out of the whole eggs, whatever was laid, and you bring it down to 6.5 on the next spawn, and then you get 300, and then you're like, what did I change? Just that one little thing,
Yeah. We're trying to get some more questions going. This has been a pretty good chat so far.
Wants to know, do I need substrate to grow live plants, or can I just use gravel? Depends on the plant you're growing. Some plants not so demanding. But if you're looking at the really nice ones that you're seeing on like MD fish tanks, aquascapes, and stuff like that, you probably would need some substrate.
Yeah, unless you're growing like Bacopa or Wisteria, you don't really
Yeah,
like. Which
those
that's a lot of my old fish videos, like with my tanks like scaped, albeit like they weren't like the best looking tanks, but like they still were pretty nice looking planted tanks, and I didn't use any special things. Like I used just like a normal substrate.
yeah.
You just got to like do your research, figure out what plants are easy to grow, and then try and make a judgment from there. But I mean, plant soil is not that expensive. Like sometimes it is, but you can get like a bag of it, spread it out along a tank for like $70. Then you can have more success with the plants that you want to actually keep instead of just going to like plants you don't really want to keep because you don't want to spend that $70.
And here's a little piece of advice I think a lot of the aquascape guys are not telling you is that those aquascape tanks, they have a shelf life about 6 months. So like the day you set it up, you can literally tear it down at the end of 6 months because they don't really last beyond that. Like unless you're like really focusing on it and doing a lot of maintenance and like you'd have to reset it at least every 6 months, move stuff around because it plants grow, nature just happens, right? So it's not going to stay like that. So
What kind of
they
happens? It's like the plants kind of decide where they want to grow.
yes,
Where you know, like
you can't control that. It just does its thing, and then it becomes like a jungle or whatever. And you got to pull everything out, put new soil, rescape it, put everything back in. Like
the
it's
reason
not work.
the reason they don't tell you is because like I feel like it takes away from the work that they're doing. Like if it doesn't seem like it's long term, it's like doing a painting and then like throwing the painting in the bin after 6 months and then doing another one.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's like
It is quite enjoyable. Like I've done aquascapes and whatever, but it's very high maintenance. You will have to maintain. It's a lot harder to keep an aquascape like property aquascape tank than to keeping like some of the rare fish. Like it's a lot,
yeah.
you know.
Well, I'm gonna try and get everyone here in on something cool.
Yeah,
I want to try and experiment with this really quickly. You can just answer questions
yeah.
while I do this, but I want to play around with this.
Silas says the soil loses its power and gets dirty very quick. So aqua soil, depending on what brand you're using, yes, it does. It does tend to wear out after a while. Even especially the buffering stuff. If you're using tap water, the buffering capacity will go away and stuff. Christmas Eve already, Lazarus. Merry Christmas Eve to you, bro. John is getting into scaping. That's really nice. Thoughts on Repashy food? Can I be honest? I'll throw it in the garbage. Like seriously, that's my honest opinion on Repashy food.
That's it's a hard opinion. I use Repashy, but
Yeah,
I think you've got a lot of better options.
yeah, we do. And then this is the thing with the type of fish that I'm keeping. There's a lot more issues than benefits with Repashy, and that's why I said what I said. It is a great food for different types of fish, different applications. There are fish like if I was keeping goldfish, I would probably use Soylent Green. If I was keeping veggie type African cichlids, I might use some of the Soylent Green for them. Depends on the fish, but like I wouldn't use Repashy with any of my Plecos. Even maybe bristlenose, I might the green stuff, but aside from that, I wouldn't use it on any of my hypancestras and stuff, just because it causes too much issues internally for the animal. You might not notice it for the first 6 months or year, but as time passes, it's almost like a compounding effect. It's like the toxins build up over time type of deal, whatever. I don't know what it is that exactly happens, but within a year or so, you will start seeing digestive issues. Your animals will start becoming bloated every once in a while if you just put a little bit extra by accident, whatever it is, right? So I try to avoid that by using things like Basileer. Basileer does not give me any money. There's a super chat. Merry Christmas.
Thanks for that, Kaz. I really appreciate that, dude.
But the one thing I can say is that for the last 3-4 years that I've been feeding Basileer to my Plecos, I haven't had a lot of loss. I haven't had a single loss from bloat or untimely deaths. No things like where my fish are having indigestion or they look like balloons. You know what I mean? I don't have those issues with Basileir. So like it's a very better food, quality food. I think is more palatable to my fish and stuff. So I stick to higher grade food for like some of my more expensive fish. Because I like Nick said, I do have more choice in Canada. Not as much as Europe. Let's be honest. All my food comes from Europe, except for the bug bites, which is made here in Canada. But like because I do have the ability to get it from Europe and it's not too difficult, I can say that that's what I like to feed. But if I didn't have those options, I would probably have to like stick to some of the stuff that is available. But having said that, if I do have zebra plecos, I would probably buy Basileir for them or something else, not Rupashi.
I've been using for my Zebs. I don't know if you're gonna like hate me for this, but
No.
you can hear me all right, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll explain what I was gonna do in a sec. But what I've been using is literally I make a food with barramundi meat, like raw,
Yeah.
mussels, and I use some like my like best quality tetradiscus bites.
Yeah.
And a little bit of spinach, spirulina, garlic, like discus food basically, but no beef heart.
Yeah.
Blend it up and I feed that, and that's been probably one of the best things I've ever fed my fish because it's just meat. Like there's no.
Actually, what Thomas does. Thomas mixes not those exact ingredients, very similar, and
Yeah.
them up.
Thing is, I'd make more videos on doing that. Like I've made a few, but I just know that they won't get the appreciation. Like a lot of people won't watch them. They'll be like, oh, like it's so. I might do it. Like if you guys want me to do it, surely like if just drop like a thing in the chat if you want me to do that. But like sometimes it's not worth making those videos because they take so long to do, and then no one really even watches them ever. So
I mean, I made an entire 1 hour long food video explaining all the foods that I have, why I feed them, the nutritional content, very well detailed. Okay.
Yeah, I remember it. I think
100 something views in a channel with 15,000 people, like 100 some views. And then I get messages every single day asking what you feed, and I'm like, go watch the video. It's an hour long. And then I made 3 smaller ones that are like just for Sebs and Hypencestrus and all that. I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's annoying. Like I had people ask me yesterday, like, how do you balance between content that you want to make versus content that you know is going to get views? And it's like, I kind of don't. But like, sometimes it's just, how do you even package that up in a way that someone will be interested in watching it? Like, it's literally, a lot of people will click the video, see you blending meat, and then go, no, thank you. I thought you were going to make flakes or something like that, and then click away.
Flakes are the worst thing to feed your fish. Just it's not healthy. It's like
I feed it to some of my grow outs, but I only feed it in moderation as like a filler just between things.
Yeah. Adult fish. I meant like your breeding fish.
Oh yeah, no, never.
You gotta, and that's another point I wanted to make earlier with the betas that I think it's important to explain this. If you are gonna breed fish, and let's say you want to buy whatever fish, let's call them Fish X. Okay, so Fish X is available in store number 1 for $12, decent quality, good looking fish. But store number 2 is telling you $20 a fish, superior quality, much nicer quality, much better looking fish. And then you might think, okay, I'm gonna go with store number 1 and pay $12 and save me $8 a fish and get the all right looking fish and start breeding with them. I would say don't do that. I would say go with the $20 fish. Get the best of that quality. Like if you want to breed rams, get the best rams you can possibly get. Start with good stock. Start with healthy animals. Start with proper animals that don't have deformities, that don't have signs of weakness. If you are going to buy fish, buy the dominant animals. Don't buy the weak animals, the animals that look sick and stuff, you know?
Yeah, I've got something I want to say. And I always get the question, and you would always get it too if you ever talk about breeding stuff for profit. The question is, what is the best fish to breed for profit?
Depends.
Now, something I'm going to say is every fish costs a certain amount for a reason. So like you're like the market like will kind of automatically sets the price so that you can make profit on that fish. That doesn't mean you can breed any fish for profit, but it means that the fish that you're going to have the most success with is the one that's going to make you the most profit because you're going to be able to. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm just talking out of my head, like, but this is like my opinion. So like when you talk about you buying the better quality fish, the reason it costs that price is because it's a better quality fish.
And
So
you can
like,
offspring
and you're going to be
possible.
also to sell it. Yeah, you know what I mean? So that's like why that price is there. So like don't try and breed something that you can't easily breed, because you could have just bred something you could easily breed and made a lot of money from it.
Yes.
Even like angels.
Also selling wise, like the more expensive a fish is, the less people are willing to pay for that. Like for example, when I tell somebody a zebra Pleco from me is 150, 180, 200 bucks, whatever it is, depending on the size, and they just want a Pleco, that person is not buying a $200 or $300 zebra Pleco. They're going to go buy a $2 or $3 regular Pleco from the pet store or from another breeder. Like I had a guy literally tell me he breeds like 1,000 to 2,000 like common Plecos, like bristlenose a month.
Yeah.
Sells to all the pet stores, so he makes money from that. And he wanted to start doing zebra Plecos. So he called me. We had a phone conversation, whatever. So everything was good. And then he asked me how much I would charge for 10 fish. And I told him, this is what I charge. And that's what everybody else in my city charges too, actually, probably more. So he goes, "Oh my God, that's crazy. Do you think I'm stupid to pay that much for a Pleco?" I said, "I don't assume anything, but this is what they go for." You know what I mean? So he didn't buy them, but and he's making 1,000 bushy nose and making $2,000, right?
Yeah, that's the same here.
Yes, he's still making money, but again, can he make $2,000 if he had zebra Plecos every month consistently? I doubt it, because if you have a group of 10, are they going to breed every single month for you and make that money, right? But so definitely, bushy nose is much more profitable to breed.
Yeah, it's the ones that are like a little bit higher priced than like things that farms don't make, but still are popular.
Yeah.
What I mean by that farms don't make is like they don't make, not that they don't make them, but like
They make them a lot.
not neons, not guppies,
Yeah.
not platies. But yeah.
And like blue rams, like a great example is a huge seller, very very easy to breed and stuff. But most people are not gonna succeed with blue rams because it's a lot of work. Like this because you breed them, and it's a lot of work to get them going. But once you do have them going, you can make a considerable amount of money from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can't like, yeah, you can make a lot of money from rams, but it's not going to work for everyone. Like you need soft water, and in my opinion, you need that auto feeding system.
Yes, and you need to spend a lot of time raising those fry. Like
Yeah,
boxes every day. Like angels, another same very similar situation with angels. I spent if I'm going to work, I have to wake up an hour before the time I have to leave my house. So like I give myself about an hour to wake up and brush my teeth, walk my dog, feed her, get her ready and stuff. So if I'm leaving my work house at 3 or sorry at 5, I have to wake up at 3 in the morning, which is pretty much most of the days I go to work. And I come home at only like 9 o'clock at night. So like it is what it is. If you want to raise babies, you have to clean boxes, clean their environment, which is a lot.
What I forgot to talk about before is what I was trying to do before when I was like kind of like not in the stream is I've got an upcoming video that I'm going to do with in regards to making a aquascape that's also used for breeding. And there's a part of the video, like I've got it in my like little mini, it's not a script, but like I've got like a plan for the video where I wanted to ask Malik's opinion. Now we did this on FaceTime the other day, but for some reason it didn't record the audio.
Yeah.
I was just thinking maybe I should take the hat off, but I want everyone in the chat, like you're all involved basically in the recording of a video here. Well, I was trying to record the screen that I'm doing this on right now, but it's not going to work. I tried testing it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back on the video and find the segment and we'll write down the time.
Okay.
But what we're going to do is I'm going to ask Malik his opinion on what he thinks I should do for the tank, and it's going to be used in the video. So you're all going to be here for the moment, like, and I don't know when the video is going to come out, but we're going to definitely use it. So let's write down the time. Oh, it's at like 1 hour. I should remember that. All right. So my plan is for this tank. like this is what's going to be recorded. I don't know if this is too weird for everyone. Okay. My plan for this tank is to have like for it to be a space for breeding L134s, but also look really appealing and be a biotope that represents like where they come from in the wild. So have lots of, organic matter in there. So lots of branches. Obviously has to incorporate the caves and slate probably, but I'm a little bit worried about it being too difficult to have the best of both worlds. Like have a really good tank but then every time you want to take the fish out, have to completely tear down the tank, and you know what I mean? Do you have any advice?
So my main advice is if you want to breed in there, you want to have a lot of caves and stuff and a lot of slate so that the fish have enough hiding places and whatnot. So keep it simple. So if you have 10 fish, get 15 or 16 caves, various sizes, whatever, and a few different plates or slates, or I use tiles, like long tiles, 4 inches wide, 18 inches long, and stack your structure in the middle of the tank, leaving about 2-3 inches in the front and 2-3 inches in the back, and it just have your structure in the middle, and then be able to this way you can pull caves out. So have 4 or 5 caves on the bottom, put a plate on, put 4 or 5 more caves, put another plate on, and you can build 2 or 3 levels, and then on top of that you can add a couple of pieces of wood or branches or whatever, just to kind of hold it all in. And you don't have to glue this in. They're not going to fall apart. It's pretty stable once you stack them in properly. And the benefit of this is there's spaces in between caves and stuff, so you can see all the fish. You can easily get a head count, see how many there are, because you would want that. Generally speaking, in a breeding tank, you want to make sure your females are not getting hurt, things like that sort. And the next thing is, whenever they do spawn, you want to be able to take those caves out, either to harvest the fry or to separate the male and the fry into a breeder box, whatever. So you don't want to have to break down your tank every time your fish spawn, right? So you want to have the ability to pull one cave out without the entire structure collapsing, and then replace that with another cave, so on and so forth. So having that access on both sides, in the front and the back, is quite important.
So having the breeding setup in the middle with everything built around it, basically.
Yes. So almost like a little, if this is the tank long ways, you have a little mountain built in the middle where.
I just thought of an idea. When people do that Buddha thing, a jade Buddha. Imagine if you did that on top, and they're in the Buddha, you build it like an Aztec.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Hold it all in place is good. Just
South American Aztec tank.
Nothing too heavy. Nothing that could fall and crush the fish. But yes, you can have structures on top of it. You can make it look nice. And then also planting wise, you can plant on top of the structure, having Anubias or Bucephalandra or anything that kind of grows on top of things.
Yeah.
And then some tall plants in the back. And I think you had an idea to put some ground cover in the front, which is fine. Just as long as the fish have space to get in and out of the caves, they'll be happy. And in nature, they do come from areas where the flow reduces quite a bit, apparently. So they don't seem to care about the flow too much. You want to have a little bit of flow in there, like a small power head or something, just pushing the water into your filter and taking care of the gunk and stuff like that. But beyond that, they don't need heavy amounts of flow. They don't need to be bounced around in the tank. It's pretty straightforward. I can make a little video clip of my L134 breeding tank right now, and I can send it to you to add to your video as well. So
awesome. All right. Well, everyone here, you just basically witnessed the recording for part of my video.
There we go.
That we're gonna do, but we're gonna do a video where I've just gotten a bunch of ideas actually, but I want to get into the aquascaping side of things and make a few videos on that, because I haven't really done those for so long.
I know, and they get a lot of views.
Yeah, but dude, imagine okay, so that classic. I don't want someone to. I doubt anyone's gonna even take the idea. It might not even be a good one, but the classic the Pleco kingdom, whatever they call it. Imagine you make what do they call it?
Pleco condos.
Yeah, Pleco condo. You make a Pleco condo, but then at the top you create a little planter box, and then you plant in there plants that droop down over the sides.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would be like. Maybe like Monte Carlo or something. And like
Yes.
as it grows, it comes and it forms like a jungle around that cave structure. How cool would that be? And you can cut the front like curtains.
That'd be actually pretty cool because the fish, I mean, they don't care about plants, but the cover definitely makes a big difference. Having
I'm not even, like, I don't even think they'd even notice it, but like it just look really visually appealing, in my opinion.
Definitely. And there's a question from Silas here. I want to answer real quickly. Is scrubbing always a sign of sickness, or is it just normal? Depends on how often they scrub. Now, you got to remember, fish are like us. You know, they don't want things on their body. So, you know, if a little bit of gunk or, you know, some debris sits on them, they might scrub to get it off. They might also scrub when they have like internal, like gill flukes are what you would be worried about if they're scratching themselves too much. Now, if you have gill flukes, you'll have secondary symptoms like the redness in the gill. They might be breathing heavily. You know, so these things, so you might want to keep an eye on it. But the odds, rubbing like once in a while, it's not bad. It's completely normal. It's just, you know, like the animal, like me scratching my nose right now. See, it's itchy. It's not that I have Omicron. I just have an itchy nose. You know? But then if I'm doing this all the time and stuff is coming out and like I'm sneezing and, you know, I feel like
it's like when you get really bad hay fever and then you like get like that weird rash there from like, you know, blowing your nose so much. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know that one. Oh man,
I hate that, man. Do you have hay fever as well?
I don't know if you have hay fever, but we definitely get colds in the winter. And
bro, I get hay fever terrible here. The second any flower blooms, I'm just like,
oh, allergies, seasonal allergies.
Yeah, allergies. Yeah,
we get that. Pollen, every yeah.
What else can we talk about?
Merry Christmas Eve, by the way. You guys are.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone. Thanks for joining. I knew that today wouldn't be like 150 people in the stream, but
how many
everyone here who's joined, like 70, heaps.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's good. I don't care. I'm here to chat with you and answer their questions. So,
how to breed Synodontis eruptus. So, again, really quickly, I just want to get to that. Synodontis are quite easy to breed. You set up a tank, you know, however, like just a fish in the tank. You get a bowl. I don't have a bowl, but, you know, cup could work too. You put marbles in the inside, and then you have a flower pot upside down with a hole on it. So they go inside the hole and they lay eggs, and the eggs get collected into the cup inside the marbles, and you can harvest it that way. If you want a detailed video, Fish Easy is making one, so, you know, I'm not going to get too much into it, but he's breeding them right now.
I've checked out his channel before, I think. Fish Easy, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll go check it out.
He's super chill, and he's super successful.
Yeah, I've heard you talk. He does rams, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. 1,000 rams.
Oh, yeah, no, this guy's going to blow up. Yeah, he's got a... I've seen some of these videos.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, go check his channel out.
Yeah, it's worth it, I think. He's
also check out Malik's channel, by the way, if you guys haven't already done it. Go subscribe to Malik.
I'm pretty sure most of you have, but if you haven't, come on over.
Yeah.
We have Nick over pretty often.
Yeah. Frequent stream member.
Yes, sir. And contributor.
Sorry?
And contributor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What do you mean from the donos?
No, you
I was going to say.
You help
Not
out.
much.
No, you help. No, come on. You help me with like editing stuff. And
yeah.
thumbnails proper. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm always here to help with that stuff.
So,
that's like pretty much the only thing I can do for you at this point in time.
And you show up on my streams, which is good. And do guest appearances like this. So great. What's good? Austin, what's up?
Do all freshwater catfish breed in mud caves in the wild? The horn pouts around here sure do. They sometimes cause damage to infrastructure. Yeah, how do plecos actually breed in the wild?
So if you watch, there's videos of this on Leandro Sosa's channel actually. So basically, in the dry season, the riverbeds get exposed, okay, on the sides, and then birds will go and dig holes like parrots and stuff to breed in the mud bed on the side. Usually, larger plecos tend to use those. Some other species dig their
What,
own.
where the birds used to be.
Yeah, when the water comes back up, those holes are still there, so they use those logs, like holes in the logs. A lot
Trying
of
to find
the
a photo.
yeah, if you go on Leandro Sosa's page, would be I forgot
I don't
what
want
it's.
to get copyright from him. I don't know if he might not have a problem. Let's find it.
No,
Whatever.
he's pretty chill. But yeah, like there's like I think I have some of that on some of my Pleco breeding videos. So if you watch how to breed Plecos on my channel, you might see some of the pictures that I got from Leandro. He's a professor in South America trying to save the zebra Plecos. So he's pretty knowledgeable, and I got a lot of pictures from him to add to that. But basically, any type of natural cave structure that they can find, they also dig their own. Some species can. I know the common plecos are pretty notorious for digging holes and stuff. So it depends on the species. There's about 1,000 plus different species. There's actually
Do
more.
you know the videos where we would see some of those caves?
Not on top of my head. Like,
All right.
yeah,
Do you know what the species of bird it is? Bird,
the
bird nest,
parrots,
riverbank.
parrots, like South American parrots, like like parakeets, I guess, or what do you call those macaws? Like those animals would dig holes into the riverbed and here, try to find it on my phone.
Sorry, guys. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Look at
Found it?
this. Yep. I'm gonna try and get it. How do I stream my computer?
L82
Share.
Pleco. Yes, those are gorgeous, and they're quite expensive, by the way, and very rare.
Oh, what the hell?
They use whatever
What do I
they
have?
can. It's not specifically bird caves, but this is a very good example of. There it is. See, so now this is not the only thing they would use, but this is a very viable solution. So it's just whatever is available, and this seems to be something that is quite commonly available at riverbanks and stuff. In the wet season, these get flooded up, and the fish can go into these caves and breed without being too worried about being attacked from other fish or whatever. You know what I mean? So
Now, the interesting thing about these caves is like if you did like a sample of the inside, I'm sure that they're not just like a tube. They're like kind of stop sharing my screen. I'm trying to find another photo, but they're kind of like um they have the tube and then at the end it's like a bulb.
yes, yes, yes.
So I wonder if that would help plecos. I've made something like that before, but I didn't notice any plecos actually breed in it.
That's the thing. I mean, I have a friend who actually is trying that out. My friend Josh, and a few other people have told me about this. And that depends, right? Like again, like I'm not like I can't talk to the fish, so I don't know what they want.
Yeah.
But what I can say is they definitely like caves, some type of cave. I find personally with a lot of my plex, they seem to prefer caves that are really tight, that they barely can get into. That seems to be a huge preference. So my zebra plecos, for example, they'll use a cave that's like about that big. And same with the L135, a cave opening is like that wide, so it's tiny. And the
Like a
fish,
finch or something's jumped in it.
yeah, like
Like like a little baby finch or
yeah, they can't fit in it barely, and they seem to prefer those. So I don't know why, but that seems to be a thing. But again, it could all these things. I find that in nature, it's not like they have like obviously the more dominant fish will get the preference of the caves, right? So they're gonna pick the caves that are the best. Then the least dominant fish will just breed in whatever they can. You know what I mean? So it's not like so the fish will not care beyond like it being a structure, but for optimal results, you want to have the best,
yeah.
situation. But overall, I don't think it really matters to all that much.
No, like if they're breeding, they're breeding. Like they don't really care that much. It's the water parameters. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like you don't really care where your bed is in your house. You just care that the house isn't a dump.
yeah. Basically, yeah.
But
What's going on,
what else can we do?
What's going on, Jay
I'm
Oliver?
enjoying this.
Me too. There's a lot of my regular subscribers.
We should. I don't want to do this on this stream, but like, I probably can't even do it on this channel. But we should do one where you know how like on your streams you just drink beers.
You can come and do it on mine. You drink beer,
Yeah, we
right?
should.
Yeah,
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 yeah, of course.
yeah.
I'm
So
21 now, so it's legal.
there we go. So next time when I do a stream on mine, join me. We can get drunk and talk smack. You know what I mean? Because I don't care. If this is the thing, I'm a human being. If people can't
Yeah.
respect that I'm a person outside of YouTube and I have an opinion, I have, like I drink
But that's
beer.
why I love you. It's like the other guys on YouTube, like it's everyone's all about the appearance and like it's like okay, I get it. Like everyone's got
I
a
get to do
business
that
and
at work. I get to dress up in a suit and clean shaven and stand straight and
yeah,
pretend like I'm somebody important. I get to do all that at work, right? Like I'm here having fun with you guys. I'm not here trying to impress anybody. Like you know what I mean? If I want to do that, I'll go to a bar and talk to girls and I'll impress them all day. Like that's what I like
yeah,
doing. Like
yeah,
I can do that, but I'm not trying to impress you guys here. Like I'm just being honest. I'm gonna tell you what it is. Like I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna tell you a lie about something. If I know something to be a lie, I'm not gonna tell you. Like if you're asking me, can I keep my discus at 8.5 pH? I'm probably gonna tell you probably not gonna work. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I don't want to hurt your feelings, but at the same time, I know that if I lie to you and say yes, and then you kill your fish, that's gonna hurt you a lot more than your feelings. You know what I mean? It's gonna hurt your wallet and other things. So
It's like a hard one because like we've talked about this in the last stream, but like it's the people. Like in my opinion, we could probably both get more views and have more YouTube success
yeah,
if we didn't like if we acted like not like people we weren't, but we were just very careful about our appearance. Like you never talked about like COVID or anything, and like we only talked about fish and like you
yeah.
know what I mean. Like
If you just made setup videos, you would have like a 500,000 subscribers already. Like
yeah,
if
but
you,
like if you know what I mean, like it's not like the long term play, and this is something I want to do for like 15 years. So it's like um not really worth it. Like I don't want to pretend to not be someone. Like that's why I was in between like two spaces in my head. I posted this photo. I'll get it up on my community page, but like a lot of people didn't know I had my 21st like 2 months ago, and we had such a fun time. Like it was such a good party. Um, but when I
happy
got 100K, oh thanks, bro. When I got 100K though, I posted this photo, and yeah, how do I share it? Again, excuse my boomer uh, camera skills. I think that's the one. Yeah, here. I ended up sharing this photo of me like popping champagne. I was a bit like in between, like, is this appropriate for my YouTube channel? Is it not? And I'm like, oh, I don't even care. Like, it's what I want to do. You know what I mean? Like, if I want to post this,
you're a person. You have feelings.
exactly.
You
I'm a
eat.
21-year-old kid. Like,
Yeah,
dude, this is the kind of stuff we do.
this is what you do. This is if you
Yeah,
didn't post this, I would be like, is this guy a bloody robot? Because I don't know anything about him. Like this shows
yeah,
me you're normal. Like I can come over and we can go and have fun, right? Like if we
yeah,
hung up, I know I can have fun with you because I saw that now. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Exactly. Well, like, it's like, but you know what I mean? Like, a lot of other people like don't even post. There was like a photo where I was like a little kid at a fish shop, and like I know other people would never post it for some reason. Like,
I love that. It's you. It's you,
yeah,
Like it's who you are. Like it hasn't like yes, YouTube is YouTube and whatever. And but at the same time, you're on it. This is you. You know what I mean? If like that's why I always like and this is I guess this is why I'm still probably not married and stuff, is I always tell people that I'm dating. It's like this is me, take me as I am. I'm not changing. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like there's always gonna be things that they don't like about me. There's always gonna be things that they like about me. So if you cannot overlook the things that you don't like and if it's not worth it, then I'm sorry. I'm just not the person, right?
That's like the major problem. A lot of people don't want to like accept that other people can have a separate opinion, like, and it doesn't actually affect them. Like, what other people do is really unaffects like what I'm gonna do. Like, so if you go out and you have a certain opinion on a topical issue, that does not really ever make a difference to like my life. And there's no point in me. Like, I'm sure there's things that like you and me would disagree on, but like I'm not gonna like let that impact.
And that's the thing. Here's the thing. It's okay for people to have different points of view. We are not the same. So like if I'm hanging out with another person and they have a completely different political opinion than me, or different way of doing things, a different way of keeping fish, whatever it might be, thinks that something is more important than the other than myself. That's okay, because they're a different person than me, and they're a unique individual, and I have to be open-minded to take in what they're saying, and whether to accept or reject, or to counter argue, or whatever it is. This is normal. You know what I mean? We live in a world where everybody's an individual. Everybody's allowed to have their own thoughts.
Exactly, bro.
Normal,
But that's like something that like I think that there's so many things that I wish that like I said, I'd love to just hop on a stream with you, have a few beers, just literally probably not even talk that much about fish, or just be like
I'm gonna be talking
super
about
honest about like, and just like show people like who you really are. Like, not that like I drink, bro. Like I drink like once a week, like on the weekend with my friends. Like, but if you post something like that, people be like, "Oh, Nick's like a drunk," like things like that. But
people drink. It's a like. Here's the thing: we live in a world. Everybody's everybody. If you don't accept something somebody's doing, doesn't make them a bad person, unless they're doing something bad, like actually bad, like robbing people, hurting people. You know what I mean? Doing something.
yeah,
Someone that's or keep hurting animals, that I cannot support. If you're not that person, you're a normal person. You have a normal life and you have opinions. Great. I love you for having an opinion. You know what I mean? You're allowed to have an opinion. You know what I mean? Like, you might say, what? Malik's an idiot. That's your opinion. You're allowed to have it. You know what I mean? Straight up. And I won't be mad at you for having that opinion about me, because you know what? That's your bloody opinion.
yeah, exactly, bro. It's how it is. I was gonna ask you, what are you even doing for Christmas?
So my parents are coming by.
Ooh.
I'm gonna have to entertain them for a few hours. Before.
Do you see them much?
Yeah, I see them once a week. I'm their lost cause now, because my brother's married and stuff. He's bought a house, and so initially my parents kind of like ignored me, because like I wasn't doing anything they wanted. Like, I wasn't getting married, I wasn't giving them grandkids. You know what I mean?
I understand.
I brought my dog and I gave it to my mom. Here's your grandchild. My mom loves dogs, and she was like holding him. My mom gave me this look like, really, really. Right? So I wasn't doing any of that. So they kind of like had me on the back burner. But now my brother's married. He's with his wife, and they have a house. Like, it's a little far away. And my parents are like feeling, I think, guilty, because like, so they're going to see my brother. They're spending the entire Christmas break with my brother and his wife. But before that, they want to come see me so that I don't feel left out. So they're coming tonight to bring me stuff, food and stuff, and spend some time, and they might stop by tomorrow on the way there, so they come do.
Good.
Yeah, I'm doing that, and then tomorrow night I don't think I have anybody coming over, because all my friends have families. They're all married and have kids, most of them. My one friend, she's going up north to spend time with her uncles and whatever. So like, I'm by myself tomorrow, so I'm gonna get drunk. Like, I might live stream. I might unbox.
Yeah, dude, surely hop on the live. I probably can't hop on the live because I gotta like go see, like, I've got, my parents are split, so I gotta go see both sides.
There you go. You get two gifts.
Yeah. Oh well, I'm 21 now. I don't really get that many gifts, and there's no like, the only thing that would like genuinely, like, I'd be super grateful if anyone got me anything, but when I open that box, I want to see it as a Pleco. Like, there's not many other things that I want to see like when I get a gift these days. So
yeah, fair enough. I can respect that.
I buy all the stuff that I want anyway. It's basically so.
Me too.
But yeah, no, that sounds good. Probably just hop on the live, dude. Surely I'll watch the live.
There you go. You can come join me on the live. I can have you jump on and drink a beer with me.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll definitely do that at some point, anyways.
Yeah,
that sounds fun. Don't worry about. You can't worry about what other people think of you. Live your life according to your choices and what makes you happy. Yes, I get the business side of your YouTube videos, though. Yeah, it's like that weird balance. I think that like you want to represent yourself in a way that's like digestible for people, but then you also want to be true to yourself.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest problems I think I had in the past, where now I don't don't care anymore, and now it has worked quite well since then. But in the past, I was always fighting myself, because I want to make content that is educational, essentially. Like, it's going to entertain people too, but like, especially the edited videos, I want you to learn something. You're spending your time watching it. I've spent my time making it. you're there to learn. You know what I mean? Something or whatever from my experience or from my failures or whatever it
Yeah.
might be. And I always have to struggle trying to when I make those videos because they don't get a lot of attention on YouTube. People don't want you to tell them that they have to alter their pH for a specific fish, or they don't want you to tell them that you have to feed a specific diet for a specific fish. They just want you to tell them that what they're doing is right, that everything is perfect, and the fish
Yeah.
are fine. You know, everything is great. Like they don't want to know unless something is wrong. That's when they come to you and they're like, What happened? You know, like I was feeding them Repashy every day and they were fine until today." And I'm like, whatever, right? Like so simple stuff like that. So now after like the year of like the last year, I kind of like gave up on that, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna make videos that I think are gonna be useful and that I think like that is not there. Like the zebra Pleco videos. That's why I made them because there's so many people wanting to keep them, so many people that want to breed them. There's zero information, and if there is any information, it's like the video from Aquarium Co-op with the snub nosed fish. Like this fish is not even representative of what an actual zebra Pleco should look like, and that's the only video available on this animal. Like, come on, like we can do better than that. So like that's why I made that series, and then people want to learn about breeding them, and so I'm breeding them. So I made the breeding videos, the fry care videos, and stuff, and they did get a lot of like surprisingly, they did. They're like one of the
That's
best
how I
videos.
found your channel.
Yeah, so they did do well, but initially I wasn't gonna make those because I wasn't getting a lot of responses from people when I make like informational content. You know what I mean? Like now the videos that I made like 2 years ago are like going viral, like with the angels and stuff, and they're very informative. But like if you are looking for entertainment, it's not it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you remember like at the start of COVID, he didn't do it on his YouTube, but the King of DIY was like hopping on like Instagram lives and getting stoned and like just talking
Yeah.
to like people on Q&A.
Mm-hmm.
I actually liked that. I thought that it was
I
like
love him for that.
true to himself, and like
Yeah.
there was something he said that like some guy used against him, some like crap, but I don't get why more people like just even like people who don't drink and don't do those things. Like if you're into gaming, why don't you just hop on like a stream once in a while? Like don't do it all the time because your audience is obviously there for some reason, but like hop on and just game and talk. Like just be a person. Like
This is what I do outside of fish. This is the thing. I love the King of DIY. I've been watching him since he started. He's a Canadian. I don't know him personally, but like I feel like I do because I've been following him forever. Okay.
you'll probably meet him one day, I reckon.
Yeah, like, and if I do, we'll click because we're very similar people. Like it seems like he's very straight up. It seems like he doesn't care. He doesn't hold back. Like same as me. I honestly I don't care about other people in terms of their feelings unless it's like like I'm not trying to hurt feelings. I'm not sitting here trying to be like a mean
No, like
person.
you care. You don't care like what they're gonna think about
Yeah, exactly. Like I
your
don't care if
experience.
somebody thinks about me. Like if you're gonna think that I'm not a good person, doesn't take a dollar out of my pocket. You know what I mean?
Mm.
That's how I look at life. Like I'm not a bad person. I try my best to do good, and beyond that, I don't consider what you know what I mean. Like, oh, is this gonna make somebody not like me? It's like you know what I mean. Like little things like I don't. It doesn't bother me if somebody doesn't like me. There's people I know people that don't like me. Like I have friends that don't like me, and we're still friends. So like, I mean, a random stranger. Why should I care about that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I have people that I see every day that tell me like sometimes they're like, bro, like I don't like you that much, but we're friends. We hang out, we drink beer, whatever. I'm like, bro, I don't like you either. It's mostly because of my political stance or whatever I feel about something, whatever. But again, we're still friends. It's not like I'm gonna stop talking.
The reason we have politics is because people like have different opinions. Like, dude, not everyone's gonna think the same, bro. Like, freaking hell, like, who cares?
And like not everybody has to vote for the same guy. Like I'm sorry, we
Yeah,
don't live in that world. Not yet.
yeah. I was gonna ask you too. Like, this is completely off topic of what we were just talking about, but I want to like see what you have planned. What do you have big plans for next year? Like, is there anything you're gonna try and do next year that?
Um, so my main goal for 2022 is to plan at least. I want to be in a new facility. I already paid for the whole year for this place, so it's not realistic for me to say in the beginning of the year. But at least by summertime, I want to have it lined up. So like I found a place, or I'm looking for a place, or whatever. So that's a plan that I have, and then beyond that, I want to just work, like, because I had 2 years of sitting at home and not really working, so I
What
really,
you mean, like back in film and stuff?
yeah, I just want
Yeah.
to work for a year or two, just save up some more money, buy a nice car, whatever, like, just, like normal people stuff, right? Like, I don't want to be the guy, just, like, my friends are all driving. Like, one of my friends drives a Lotus. Like, I work with him, and then he comes and parks his like $120,000 Lotus beside my $3,000 shit box. Imagine how I feel. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't
No,
feel,
bro, who cares? That doesn't matter. Bro, you can park your like zebra plecos next to his guppies.
Yeah, but no, that's what I'm saying. But like at the same time, like, I mean, when I go to work, like all my friends are driving like Benz trucks and Lotuses and like Benz cars and like BMW M3s and whatever, like, and Porsches and whatever. And me, like, with my literally like metal piece of metal, like, just it doesn't even fit in the
Bro.
parking lot. So I want to do some of that little bit, just upgrade a little, you know what I mean? Get a better place, a new dog maybe, like, I love you, but I want another one. New dog, what
If
new
you're
dog?
going through that, sorry about the. If you guys can hear mowing noises, it's the guys just started up again. So sorry about that. Well, if you're going through that planning stage, make sure, like, because I'm going to be probably doing the same thing. So I'll be sending you plans of what I've got, and we can just bounce ideas off of each other. But are you planning to do so you're gonna have a separate facility away from home, or are you gonna move house to?
I'm. I mean, it makes no sense to have it away from my house, just because,
Because
like,
you still want to work.
yeah, like, I want to have it in the house, or I want to actually get a place where I can live in a part of it, and then have the larger portion dedicated to the fish room, and then automate the whole thing. So all I have to do is turn switches on.
Bro, do you reckon that like you want to do this full time though? Like, would you ever be like, well, like yeah, like kind of like what I do, like just make YouTube videos and breed
Yeah.
fish?
So here's the thing: if our government forces us to take a third booster, and my work is trying to force me to take a third booster, I can't. I've had a injury from the second one, like a severe injury. So I don't see myself trying to risk my life to continue to go to work like that. So if that happens, then I would switch all effort, focus onto the fish, and just say, you know what, I'm just doing this until the mess is over. But if that doesn't happen and I can continue to go to work, I want to continue to do what I'm doing now, continue to go to work, and then also do my fish, like, as my hobby, my side hobby, whatever business, and do the YouTube videos, whatnot. But it all depends on how things go over the next few months, and then what my doctor decides to do on my behalf. If she's going to write me a letter saying that I'm exempt, what my union decides to do on my behalf, if they're going to fight on my behalf and say we are not going to force you to take a vaccine that you're going to die from. And we're going to continue to let you go to work, because I love my job. Like, I work 60 hours a week. I legit
Yeah,
love work. And a lot of people don't say that about their jobs, and they don't feel that way. But I really love my job. I really do.
yeah,
And
that's awesome. Like that's the best thing that you could have happen.
yeah, like, I mean, dude, I show up in my onesie in the morning, and they do all the stuff that they need to do. Like, I get fed. You know what I mean? Like, I got a $1,700 paycheck just now, like today, for 2 days of work. $1,700. I was just there 2 days. Like, I mean, what other job can you do that in, right? Like, I love it. So I wouldn't want to quit. But
Yeah,
if it comes to it, I don't think I'm going to, like, if if things don't pan out, then this is going to be it, like fish.
so you reckon if you did upgrade it, you'd have to move house?
Yeah, oh, definitely. I
Yeah.
can't.
See, yeah, because that's like the thing. I want obviously at some point to have like the fish room at my house, but I almost feel like now that I've had it away from my house, I'm probably going to keep it like that for a long time. Because it can become a lot. Like if you have negative things happening in a fish room and it's always in front of you, it's so hard to continue to look at it. But if you can force yourself to have time away by being at home and just watching Netflix or whatever,
Hmm.
that's a lot easier, I think. And like it prevents my burnout. It's different for everyone else. Like I also don't get to go down after dinner and just look at my fish.
Yeah, that's
So
the downside.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah. So mine will probably be away from home again, like
Yeah,
unless I
but not
buy a
too
house.
far though. 5-10
No.
minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. The annoying thing about my city is there's tons of traffic. So
Yeah.
you can get caught up in traffic if you go at the wrong time. But
Where in Australia are you?
Brisbane. So
Okay.
if we look on a map, here we go. Entertain the people.
Mm-hmm.
We got to
Some
stop talking about
geography.
French.
A
Yeah, we'll do
geography.
we'll do a geography lesson right now. Wait, I
So
gotta make sure this doesn't actually show my actual location. Shit. Yeah, maybe I won't show it.
and how
Wait.
many women had irregular periods before they got the vaccine glow? And honestly, like, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I've had 2 doses, and I know a lot of people that are young that are having issues. Females, males. My friend Isaiah had kidney failure. He was on the live stream on a couple of days ago with me. So he was in the hospital after getting the. It's hilarious. It is what it is. We just have to it's and this is the thing. Obviously, it's good for most people. So it's not that like it's gonna hurt everybody, but there are a portion of people that are gonna get hurt by it. So it is what it is. Ooh, look at Australia, so tiny.
Yeah, no, bro. Sorry, it's a tiny map, everyone. So if you look on it's the
I know. I see. It's in Queensland.
yeah, right there. Like where? Can you see my
Yeah.
pointer? Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's Brisbane. Now
Okay.
all the rainbow fish, I think, are kind of up along this coast.
Yes. Yes.
And then like up and around here, and then you got Papua New Guinea's up here, and there's lots of rainbows there.
Yeah.
It's so interesting that you have rainbow fish here, and then there's ocean, and then there's rainbow fish here.
Because
Like,
all of that used to be above water at a point.
dude, I know, but like how long ago? Like when you think that they would have like changed a little bit, like the rainbow fish have been the same since.
I know. I know.
Like
I mean,
ancient fish.
yeah, yeah. But here's another interesting thing that could happen too. Like this part where the land is, the water is right now between Australia and Papua New Guinea. Some of it could have been land maybe 10,000 years ago or 50,000 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
What kind of rainbow? I want to see like rainbow fish map there is around here.
I love rainbows.
Bro, they're so cool.
Live feeding says size of Alaska, 100 kilometers. Alaska's huge.
Even like, I hope this doesn't show like.
You can drive for days in Alaska and you still be in Alaska. Seriously, I'm not even joking. You can drive for like 3 days in Alaska and still be in Alaska. It's huge.
But like,
Craig, where are you from, Craig?
So this one, there's obviously rainbow fish up here.
Okay.
Whatever this one is, Melitania, whatever how you pronounce it.
Okay.
That's a terrible map.
Ooh. Okay.
This looks interesting. Oh gosh. Okay. Sorry guys. I'm just literally being a boomer. Here, maybe this is. Wait, this is the wrong tab.
You are
so bad at this.
Forget how to tell them apart. We'll
probably wrap up the stream in a minute, anyways, because I gotta go feed the fish. But
my parents would be here soon too, so I gotta deal with mom, dad stuff. Means I'm not gonna get to, partake in my favorite activities until they leave. Good. I'll be sober and jittery the whole time.
And I can't be bothered trying to get this map up. There's nothing interesting that I'm talking about. But yeah, I think maybe is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think I mean, if anybody has questions, I can answer some if you want.
We'll do like one more question, I think.
Yeah. Oh, Nick, you're not alone on this. Like you saw me trying to log on to the live stream a couple of days ago with you. Like,
dude.
nice.
Dude, I'm a fish dude, not an IT dude. So
there you go. Same. Craig's no tears, no Tari, New South Wales. Okay, I know where you are.
He's from Tari, yeah.
From hell.
It'd be pretty hard keeping fish out there, bro.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, like because I think the water would be hard to get. It's like more rural.
His facility though, oh my god, have you seen how much fish he has? He's really good with breeding. Really good with breeding. Like a lot of corridors, a lot of Pleco breeding happening in there. Yeah. The Rams. He got Craig. What else you got breeding in there? Late to the party, guys. Sorry, I'll catch up later. Just
All right, we'll do one more question. Someone drop in questions and we'll try and pick one. You might.
John is keeping 11 types of. You know what, John? I'm so jealous right now because I'm pretty sure that we can't even get all of it in
I
Canada.
reckon your dog's gonna start barking if mine.
Any second now. She's looking at the screen. She's look at her. She's like, where'd that come from? Where did that come? Princess, are you hyped up? Are you hyped up?
Wait, here we go.
Are you hyped up? Yeah.
Sorry, okay, I'll mute it.
Gonna bark. Come here. Who's your good dog? Who's your good dog? Oh yeah. There you go.
Honestly, I think like no one even has any more questions.
No.
So, all right, I guess we'll wrap it up here. Merry Christmas, everyone. Thanks for joining the stream. I hope. Oh yeah, I can do it anytime. Go subscribe to Malik's channel.
Yes. Malik.
He's got more. Yeah. This is down below. And what was I gonna say? Oh, Malik's gonna be working on more like viewing videos. He's been doing a lot of streams lately, but as he gets more time after these holidays, I'm pretty sure he's gonna be doing more videos. So
yeah, I just have time managed better. Like it's just a lot going on, so I just been busy.
Yeah, I want Malik to start doing some breeding vlogs.
I will.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been asking, and you've been asking also, so I'll do that.
Yeah, it'll help your channel a lot, and I think that
it's gonna also.
I want to see it. So
yeah, I can do that, and I might go live after my parents, or however.
Well, I'll join and have a chat when you hop on there. But awesome, thanks guys for joining the live. We had heaps of people come on today, so thank you so much. And yeah, I guess we'll see you guys in the next live. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Have a really good Christmas, everyone.
Yes, and stay safe.
Definitely. All right, see you guys.